Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Inner Sanctum's YouTube channel, where we have another one of our IQA World Cup Drop Bears previews. And joining me today is Ruth Creffield, who is a beater for Australia. Ruth, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Anytime I get an opportunity to talk quad ball and bring it to a wider audience is a great day.
Yeah, I love that.
So we'll get started. What are the preparations like in camp?
Yeah, so we've been here since Sunday night, and we've had two 4-hour training sessions, one on Monday, one on Tuesday, which have been really good because we're getting used to the heat over here because it's very humid and it's very hot till quite late at night. But those training sessions have been really good, and it's really fun with the whole team coming together and just seeing all the things that we've been doing over the 7 training camps sort of come together on the US, which is in the US, which has been awesome. We've also been doing lots of team bonding things, and we played a couple of games today as well, just like preparation games, which was really, really good to sort of see how different teams play and run through what we do as a team. And so that's sort of what we've been doing. Got a few more team bonding things, but sort of chilling out towards the end of the week before obviously the games on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I believe the games were against one of them was against Hong Kong, and then the other one was against the US National Development Team. How did
Yeah,
how
that's
did those
right.
games go?
Yeah, look, they were good. They were lots of fun. I think the US game was, or the US Dev Squad game was really good for us. That it was a very different play style than what we're used to. They played like a really fast, really hard game, and they did really well. And I think we sort of, I think we'll learn a lot from that game. A lot of takeaways for us as a team as well. But yeah, look, they played really strong, and I guess as a beater as well, that they're the beater style that they play is very different to what I'm used to. So it was really good to get exposed to that now and sort of what we can learn from that as a team now rather than, later on in the tournament.
Yeah, I woke up this morning and I was looking forward to watching that US development game because it was being streamed. I woke up and found out that the video's been made private, so I couldn't watch it. I was very disappointed.
Yeah,
Because I
you
was,
will
I
be
was
able to watch it, just not yet.
because I was
It was,
very, very excited to watch it because I wanted to see, how the drop bears are actually going to play against the development squad. Obviously we got a lot of drop bears footage from last year at European games, but this is it's as much as it's an old squad, it's also a very new squad, and you're making your debut here for the drop bears. What was it like when you found out that you'd been selected?
oh yeah, it was wild. I was, I just didn't believe it. I think so. Yeah, because I've been playing footage for 9 years now, I think, and this is the first campaign that I've ever gone for. And yeah, it was wild, and I was just so excited to do this. And being here, it's such a journey. Going through those 7 camps, going through that experience, and it's such an amazing team that we're with as well. So yeah, I was pretty stoked. Not gonna lie, I was very, very excited.
It's always good to hear just the different reactions people have, and I generally think that's a common theme when they find out they've been selected for their first is, oh my god, I've made it. I don't believe this. Like,
Yeah, I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? Sure.
um, one of the things that's been a talking point in the lead into the tournament is the 4 max, 3 max rule. And the Drop Bears have committed to playing 3 max throughout the entire tournament. There are a couple of other teams are joining them. I believe Canada's one of them. I know Norway is joining them in playing 3 max throughout the tournament. Other teams are playing conditional based on what their opponents are playing. Given that the Drop Bears are committing to playing 3 max, as a non-male player, what are your thoughts on the Drop Bears commitment to that?
Yeah, look, I think it's great. And we've been training as 3 max. We have a really strong team with 3 max, and I'm excited to see what we can do with it, to be honest. I think it was sort of, I believe the plan from the outset. And yeah, I think we're ready. I think bring it on. Like, as a non-male player, I think it's great to see that, especially at this level. I think when teams can do that 3 max, it's amazing to see it. And I'm excited to see what we can do as a team with it.
Looking ahead to the squad more broadly now, are there any particular players that you think people who may not have watched the Drop Bears before should keep an eye on?
Yeah, look, we have some there are some fantastic new people that have joined. You know, you've got like Liv and Nikki and people who haven't played before. So I think it'll be really exciting to see them as well as well as obviously the old recruits as well. So I mean, it's hard. Everyone's amazing. So it's I don't want to say for the team, but yeah, definitely some new blood in there, and yeah, just lots of good players across the board.
As a beta, you get to play very closely with some of the real, I guess, probably players you'd consider in the GOAT debate in terms of Australian quad ball: Luke Derrick, Nathan Morton, Harry Jones. Like, just
Yeah, it's very exciting.
yeah, I was going to say, what's it like getting to play alongside them, and as well as potentially learning things from them that you may not have, had a chance to learn before.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a bit surreal. But they have been such great teachers as well. Everyone, I just feel like I've learned so much throughout the 7 camps that we've had. And yeah, they are they've been doing this for a long time. They're very, very good at what they do. And I feel really lucky and really blessed to be able to, sort of learn from that. And then to get to, play with these people is, so much fun.
In terms of tournament expectations, how far do you think Australia can go?
I don't know, because my focus at the moment is just play the 100% that I can play and focus on that rather than the outcome. I think we've got a really strong team, and I'm excited to see how far we go, and I think we've definitely got the potential to do that, but my focus is 100% on just doing the best I can when I'm playing.
Are there any teams that you're looking forward in particular to playing against?
Look, not in particular. I think there's probably excitement to play Germany again in the team. To be honest, I'm just excited for our first game, just to get on there and for it to start and see what we can do.
We'll go back to the US national team development game for a second. Obviously, they work incredibly closely with the senior US team, who are the perennial favorites to win every single tournament they play in because it's the US.
Yeah.
What lessons do you think you'll be able to take out of that game should you meet the Americans at some point throughout the tournament?
Yeah, I think a couple of things. The first one is, we went in and they played incredibly well against us. And I think what we did really well as a team is everyone sort of went, okay, well, this isn't going the way we want it to go. And then we came back and we found our game and we found, what works for us as a team. And I think that in itself is amazing. Like the fact that you can sort of, be sort of going downhill, but then when you bring that back as a team, the ability to do that because things aren't always going to go our way, and we're going to be down at certain points, and but to be able to as a team turn that around, I think that is something that would be really valuable from the game this morning. But also just learning to play against something different, we play a particular style in Australia, and that's what we've sort of been training with and against. And the beta game is just so much faster, and the preference is for balls to be on the ground, and it's much more chaotic than I'm used to. And so going up against that is so valuable because it's like you can learn from that and figure out what needs to change and get better.
Yeah, because Australia has a very drive and dump kind of heavy offense, just because of the makeup of Australian players. A lot of teams like to play that driving through the middle. Did you find that it was a struggle to adapt away from a style that you're used to?
I don't think so, because we've been training really well in lots of we have plays for lots of different scenarios that work in different ways. And so I think we found that groove. We found the groove that we'd had at our training of different styles, of different plays, not just that sort of classic approach. So I think it allowed us to, find that, because I definitely think this is a team that's going in with a lot in their repertoire in terms of the chase game. I don't chase, so but in terms of what they can do in different scenarios and with those players that we have, I think,
Weather is always the great equalizer, and it's very hard, from the other side of the world to get a grasp of what the weather's actually like over there. Like, it's, I believe for the weekend, looking at highs of 30-ish, it's supposed to be humid, chance of storms, but also sunshine. Like, being a Queenslander, how do you think that the Queensland players will be able to perhaps benefit from that, given the makeup of Queensland's climate, and how will that transfer to the rest of the squad, particularly from the southern parts of the southern parts of the country, so Victoria and New South Wales, who don't have that weather to deal with?
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because I was having a conversation with someone today about how the humidity, like I was like, oh, the humidity doesn't feel as bad here as it does back home. And they're like, oh, are you sure? Like, definitely feels lower. And it's definitely because, we're from Queensland and we're used to sort of that heat with the humidity sort of mixed in. So yeah, hopefully that's something we can use to our advantage as Queenslanders. But as a team, like, because we've trained on it, I think it's really benefited us to do that early in the week, to figure out what we need to do with our bodies, how we stay hydrated, what we need to do to cool down. Like it is really, like, to describe it, it's like hot, and then so because we're on AstroTurf, it's like cooking from both sides. So it is just quite brutal. But as soon as you get into the shade, it's not too bad. So we're sort of figuring that out as a team as well, and then like getting into the shade and ways to cool off. So yes, hopefully us Queenslanders will deal with it a little bit better, but we'll definitely see on the weekend. Training in it has been a massive help though, because we can sort of figure everything out.
How has it been adjusting to synthetic? Because for those who don't know, here in Australia, we don't play on synthetic for quad ball, at least. Like, I think I've played on synthetic twice in the 7 years I've been part of this sport. And one of them, it was raining, and then the other one, it was a 30-degree day. So I definitely understand, the cooking from both sides aspect of it. But how difficult is it to make those adaptations?
Yeah, look, it definitely doesn't agree with some people's knees. There's been a few scrapes going on. Look, I think there's probably differing opinions on this, but I imagined it to be a lot worse than it was. So for me, it's kind of softer than what I pictured. It's hard to sort of cut as quickly, and there's a few things that are just not quite the same for it. But look, it's not too bad, all things considered, I think, for me, but there's probably other people on the team who would adamantly disagree. So I think each to their own, but I think the heat is probably the biggest factor for me, because it just, radiates.
And then I think that kind of covers everything. So I guess, do you have any last words? Any, to anyone watching back home or anything like that?
No, it's just exciting this week, really, seeing the team come together. I'm excited for what we can do on the weekend as well. So, yeah.
No, thank you very much for your time today, Ruth, and best of luck on the weekend.
Awesome. Thanks.